What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, taking a look at the most recent fan channel exclusive. So figures that come out at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Hasbro Pulse, and GameStop as well, which is where I got mine. Wasn't really looking for this guy, but here we are. So we are, of course, taking a look at the Cowboy Logan, Cowboy Wolverine figure today. This guy comes packaged in your standard Marvel Legends box. It's got that black and yellow X-Men motif, figure in the window, Wolverine logo on the bottom. You got a little bit of artwork of Wolverine on the side, and then the back of the package has a product shot and a little bit of a bio. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package. Our Cowboy Wolverine, a figure that, well, I don't think I ever said I needed one or ever wanted one or asked for one, but here we are. I walked in the store and I immediately left with him, so I guess I had to be somewhat interested, and I like Wolverine, so I'm not going to be too beat up over having yet another one. We've just gotten so many lately. But we're going to jump right in and see what this guy can do. He is not a standard Wolverine figure, but he is, of course, a lot of reuse. This is very similar to the Legendary Riders Wolverine, which I don't have. That's the one I think I don't have because I didn't want to buy that motorcycle. So we've got, for the most part, a pretty familiar figure, though. So the head can look up, and he can look down really far, and then you can rotate. Arms go out. They've got soft ratchets there. Rotation at the shoulder, bicep swivel. You've got double jointed elbows as usual, and then you've got hinges, and you've got rotation at the wrist. You've got an ab crunch, so he goes forward really far, backwards pretty good. You do not have butterfly joints on this guy. That's one of the key differences between most Wolverine figures. Of course, you've got a waist twist. Legs go out. They kick forward. They kick backwards a little bit. You've got your thigh cut. You've got your double jointed knees. And then, of course, you've got rocker and hinge down at the ankles, but you've also got rotation in that cuff down there as well, since he doesn't have a more standard Marvel Legends shin swivel. So he is, for the most part, very, very similar to just about every other Wolverine. He just doesn't have butterfly joints at the torso. Now, as far as the overall look and feel here, this guy is pretty normal, pretty basic. Realistically, I expect most people are buying this guy because it's Wolverine with a cowboy hat on. And that's probably why I got it as well. The figure in general is a lot of stuff we've seen before. Although I don't know that I've actually seen this torso before with the sculpted on tank top. I don't know that I have one like this. We know that it's similar to the Legendary Riders Wolverine, but it's not exactly old news to me. So you've got the sculpted on tank top here. There's a little bit of chest hair painted on as well. This is all textured, so all like the ribbing and the lines that run through a kind of like a standard wife beater style tank top, those are all built in here. And then you've got, all the musculature, a little bit of a wrinkle at the pecs there, and then the back has got some muscle striation and things like that. You've got the arms that come from the brown suit Wolverine, but these have hair painted on them this time around, so you've got some kind of brown, dark brown, two different hues of paint actually for the bicep area and the shoulders and the forearms. It's a little different throughout to give you a little bit of added paint there. And of course, you've got claws on this Wolverine in the package standard. This guy is not using the newer style X-Force Wolverine hands, so these are the older style claws, which frankly I don't really care for. I much prefer the X-Force claws at this point. But these were pretty good. They weren't too warped in the package. This hand in general was actually fine. The only one that I've had any issues with is the middle claw on this hand. And then, of course, from the waist down, you've got stuff that's pretty familiar. So like Old Man Logan style pants. You've got a black belt with a gold buckle. And then you've got the jeans that run down. Pretty nice color. Everything looks very denim-like. You've got some seams that run down as well, which lead down to the boots, which are mostly covered by the pant leg. But then you've got the foot giving you the rest of the boots. So he is, again, the body on this guy is pretty standard. Nothing too crazy, but it looks good as well. I mean, it's definitely a very country-style Wolverine, but let's be honest, it's probably all about the head sculpt and, well, the hat. And this sculpt, well, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this guy is new. It looks very, very similar in construction in some way to the vintage Wave 1 alternate head that Wolverine came with for that brown suit figure. But it's not the same. It's a different expression, and it just looks different. Not to mention the fact that despite some similarities with facial construction, the hat is not a separate piece. It seems to be attached to this actual head sculpt, and there's a void underneath there as well. So you've got basically a Wolverine face with a bit of a smirk. He's got a little bit of a furrowed brow. You've got the hair, the chops sticking out, and then, well, you've got a brown cowboy hat sitting on top of there, which has a pretty decent sculpt. Not a lot of paint on it, just the brim or the rim on the inner area of the hat. But the face looks good, the hat looks good, and it's a Wolverine head wearing a cowboy hat. I suppose everybody's going to be happy with that anyway, just because of what it is. And for accessories, this figure comes with, well, a decent spread, honestly, for a Wolverine figure anyway. So we've got an extra head, we've got a full extra set of hands, and then we've got a red sword. So the head on this guy is, of course, reuse, and this is from the recent retro carded X-Men wave of figures, and this is a figure that, well, I haven't actually gotten around to reviewing yet, but it's the one that has the black mask on the face. This time around, there's just no mask. I'm okay with the sculpt on this one. I think the real downside to this guy, at least for me, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same for others as well, is that the skin tone doesn't match. It's not the same color of flesh on the face as it is on the rest of the body. It's slightly darker, which isn't a huge thing, but I kind of can't stop seeing it now. The rest of the face is okay. I'm usually not too big on the alternate heads when it comes to Wolverine figures. This is no exception. I plan to solely use the cowboy hat head, but at least you have an option, and it does kind of change him up a bit. And then, of course, you've got a set of gripping hands for the sword, and this is just a katana-style sword, but it's done up in red plastic with a little bit of dark paint down there on the straps. What I don't really like, though, is that since this guy does not use the body that has the butterfly joints, he can, but not as well. He can hold the sword two-handedly, but he doesn't hold it as well as if he had the butterfly joints. So otherwise, it's okay. I like the red sword. I mean, it's a cool idea, and he just comes with a bunch of stuff. It's probably not a bunch of stuff I'm personally going to use, but I'm always up for having options rather than just a figure with no accessories. So I'm sure there is a lot of use to be found with all the stuff this guy comes with. So overall, it's a Wolverine figure in a tank top, in some jeans, with a cowboy hat. Is it the figure everybody needs? Obviously not. But it's a Wolverine figure, and it's really not all that bad. There's really not too much to complain about on this one. If you're into the look, I'd say jump on him. There's really nothing holding you back. It's a fun figure. He's got a unique look amongst the sea of Wolverine figures right now, at least for the most part. He has, of course, a lot of reuse, but the cowboy hat definitely sets this guy apart. And if you want to make him into something else, you do have a handful of other options. So for the Wolverine collector out there, this is probably another one that you were guaranteed to be getting. But if you want a Wolverine figure with a cowboy hat, I'd say jump on him no matter what. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends fan channel exclusive Cowboy Wolverine. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.